listen, everybody gets to listen to what they want to listen to. I mean, hey, you know what I want to do? Listen, calm down. Gat, could you please give me the mouse? All right, cool. Look at this. I found this cool ass podcast back when we was in Steelport. It's actually pretty good. It's called Get a Life Podcast. Come on, boss. No sing along right now. I'm about to listen to the Get a Life Podcast because I want to. Oh, now since Shandi said it, we can do it. Ain't this a bitch?
Hey guys, and welcome to Get Life Podcast Kunai, and you're like, what is going on, Bish? And I'm telling you right now, it's pretty much, this is an anime podcast with Tyson and Kevin. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, you probably never heard of them before. Tyson's been on other podcasts, the Fuck Yeah Call of Duty podcast, and Kevin is a podcast virgin. And today we're going to take his podcast virginity. I know that sounds wrong. Don't worry, Kevin, I'm gentle.
The way that you put it makes me slightly uncomfortable.
You should be.
Especially since I'm losing my my podcast virginity with two really old guys here.
We're not that old. Come on, we're not that old. Don't make us seem like 40-year-old men.
It doesn't make it legal.
It is kind of legal. Think about it.
Wait, what? Oh. Because Bish is what, 21, something like that.
I'm actually 19.
No. Wait.
Oh, okay. So I'm the creepy one because I'm yours by both in age, both of you.
Oh, senpai, no. That's kind of. I don't want to imagine you as my senpai. I honestly don't, because I watch a lot of shoujo anime. So when someone says senpai, you think of this like a high school girl, and you're like, oh man, I wish she was my senpai. But I can just imagine Tyson dressed up as a high school girl. I don't want to. I don't know what you look like, but this is.
He's Itachi,
that is my little secret. That is my little secret. How it looked like is my little secret, and you all know me by a slightly modification of Itachi's pose in one of the Angels of Naruto. That's it.
In a high school outfit for women. I hope so. I hope that's
no, not in a high school outfit.
So in a swimsuit.
Not in a swimsuit either.
You're such a tease, Tyson.
You just shot down.
I know.
Just too many fancies right there.
No, senpai.
We're not supposed to be talking about the second episode when we haven't done the first, which we're trying to do.
It's crazy.
Excuse me.
But even then, I'm guessing by the end of this, if there are people listening, they're probably going to do like fan fictions.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
It'll be weird, but I will read it aloud. If you guys do fan fictions of any of us, I will read it aloud and I'll give you guys your own episode. Just because of that.
Rule 34. I'm saying it right now.
No. Don't get in that ground. Don't get in that. Not in that.
Dude, come on. Fan fictions. I encourage anyone to do that.
The fan fictions I've usually ran across is when I was a big fan of Sora, that I was looking for a cool picture to don of him as my avatar, and I always happen to run across a Sora Riku fanfic where there was a lot of yaoi, and then when it was not Sora Riku, it was Axel-Roxas. So yeah, you'll understand if my affinity for fan fictions is non-existent.
Well, honestly, I enjoy fan fictions from time to time, but there's some that are really messed up. You know what I mean? When they start bringing like incest, and I'm like, hey, no, you can't do that.
Oh yeah. And
then I've seen a couple of animes which was pretty much like, I don't want to spoil it for people, but Oremo specifically, that was just nasty for me, because it was just like, no, the brother and sister, no. It's like, you can't have that. And I'm sorry if Oremo fans are like, Bish, I'm offended. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back onto point here. So yeah, we were
that's probably a good idea.
The way Kunai works is we watch pretty much a whole season of an anime and talk about it. This time I kind of suggested Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat, and yeah, it was released. I don't know when it was released, and I don't really care because you guys really aren't going to check that information up. You're just going to go and watch it and enjoy it.
So Well, I don't know about the manga, but the anime was released in 2013 apparently.
Well, who gives a shit?
2013.
Who
April
gives a
2013.
shit? Okay, we didn't really need to know that, but it doesn't really make a difference to people that are watching the anime, especially because I watch my anime like marathon. You know what I mean? So I don't sleep.
Yeah.
I just watch the complete series, and I'm like, yeah. I know it sounds completely wrong, but yeah. So anyway, no, the tube stations have free Wi-Fi, so I'm on the way. I'm underground recording. In a
Well,
sense.
damn. If
That's too
tube
quiet
stations
for
in the UK have that good.
Yeah, no, we have shitty Wi-Fi everywhere else, but the underground stations have amazing Wi-Fi. I don't see why you would need Wi-Fi underground, but apparently you do. So, anyway, so we went to go and watch Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat, and yeah, what do you guys think about it so far? I want to know your opinions. I haven't explained the anime because everyone else can go on the wiki and go and explain it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To start, I will give the initial impression because that's part of the rundown.
Mhm.
When Bish suggested the anime Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat, and I'm like, okay, this is not one of your weird fetishist fantasies.
Why would you
Bish.
think that?
Because this is something that I can't explain without going into how I watch content. Usually when I watch anime videos, hear listen music, that kind of stuff, I'm almost always on the road. I tend to do it on my phone. What does that mean? That I'm usually rounded around people that may peer into the phone and see some perverted stuff, and I'm careful about that.
Well, honestly,
But-
for me, it's a very different thing. Like, I'm normally on the underground because they have free Wi-Fi, by the way. So I'm streaming stuff from Crunchyroll, and I'm watching, like, especially for this anime, I was just watching it again underground, and then there's so many moments, and there's people just looking at you, and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Especially when there's kids, and then you hear screaming and stuff. Especially in that first episode where she thinks she's... Spoiler alert, by the way, guys. But probably you guys are watching this, you don't give a shit about spoilers, but...
Yeah, probably. Or for those who do, yes, this show
It's in the first
has
episode.
spoilers about Hentai Prince. You've been warned. We're not gonna be warning about this again. This show will have spoilers. Continue.
I like how Tyson's very aggressive. He's like, yeah, this show has spoilers. I don't give a fuck about everyone else. That's how it is.
It's straightforward.
Exactly. He's just, for some reason, I could just imagine Tyson as this, like, really... like an army guy, you know, like a marine. Like, yeah.
So you're suggesting that in another life I was a drill sergeant? Maybe I was a bouncer, kind of
Probably.
like pushing people away, stuff like that.
But you're still dressed up as a Japanese high school girl. So you're just a really muscly Japanese high school girl.
Yeah, that's what me and Bish think Tyson looks like, you know? It's a big mystery.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know, like-
This is gonna be a recurring thing, apparently.
It is.
yeah.
I want to see fan art of this now.
We should,
Oh
yes.
my-
Go
oh
post
my
on
God.
DeviantArt and send it
Send it to me.
Tyson.
Or send it to any of us.
Okay. If any of the audience is a pervert that wants, that is perverted enough to draw how I look like, send it to Bish at getalive at outlook.com.
Don't tell them my email address.
You're gonna edit this out anyway.
Actually, I'm gonna leave that in
okay.
there because you got the wrong email.
Oh, his Twitter is...
I don't know how I'm not gonna open my email client to see your precise email.
So actually, guys, my email is get-a-life@outlook.com. That's my real email. So if you guys want to go and contact me, that's fine. I get quite a lot of emails, most of which are spam. Yeah.
And he gets a lot of email, and then I'm not gonna say this. I'm not at the recording.
Dude, come on. There's a lot of people who want to talk to me, especially
they can tell you to Twitter as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
and if you have fan fictions, please, like, we
Send it-
encourage you, send it
Send
to
it
us.
No, send them to Bish. Don't send me anything. Just send them to Bish.
Send Tyson. Send Tyson all the fanfics. Don't send it to me. He's the one he's in charge of fanfics. I've already appointed that right now.
Well, someone's got a promotion already.
Exactly. Well, what? Slow claps. Well done for you. Congratulations. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's wrong with the Get a Life podcast. This is gonna be a train wreck. Like, by the end of the episode, my morale will be completely on the floor.
That's fine, because then the next
that is
episode
the
is going to be...
goal.
Exactly. That's how the Get Life podcast works. It's so random, and it's really fucked up as well. Like, it's true. If you watch the normal Get Life podcast, which you can do, I'll put the link in the description. Cross promotion, yeah! But if you go and watch that, there's been episodes where we talk about, like, where voice actors sexualize food, you know, and then it's so messed up. Like, in one episode also we were talking about dildos. It's crazy, but that's how the Get Life podcast is. It's always random and messed up, and yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Am I the only normal guy that bitch has worked with?
Okay.
Are you normal, Tyson?
Define normal. First
Exactly, define normal.
I don't know how to define it.
To my knowledge, normal people don't go looking at anime filled with high school guys that are shirtless and are wet. You know, it's just my perception.
Wow.
They're wet because of swimming pools, okay?
Is that the only reason they're wet? I don't think it's because of the swimming pools.
Well, I am not responsible for what the fan fiction puts out there. I'm not.
Well, I've seen a lot of free fan fiction.
Well, you are responsible now that you're director of fan fiction.
Exactly, that's your official title. That's what you need to do. Other than watching episodes, you need to read the fan fictions as well. And
oh my god! I need to get a nuclear missile, like launch a missile at Tumblr headquarters. Just nuke it out of existence, just to erase part of the free fan fiction that I'm seeing out there.
There's always fanfiction.net.
You can find fanfiction anywhere.
They can also get nuked.
Oh, dude, you're very aggressive about
Tyson, there's no stopping fanfiction.
How many missiles did I launch? I lost count.
Dude, you shouldn't be saying that on a podcast. That's messed up, dude.
So you're starting nuclear war just because you hate fanfiction? Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
that's
fanfiction is okay with me, but okay, I'm gonna tell the story just in case Bish hasn't edited that part out. Most of my worst experience with fanfiction is when I'm pretty much still am a fan of Kingdom Hearts, and then there was one time in which I identified myself in forum boards as Sora, so I like to look for pictures that I thought were cool of Sora. But I always happen to run across the fanfiction of either Sora and Riku, or for some time I started to find the Axel and Roxas fanfiction. I must say, fuck this, I'm out of here.
So was it a yaoi?
Pretty much of the fanfictions within that universe are yaoi.
Well, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just, for me, the only thing I find wrong is when the characters are like underage. I'm like, no, you can't do this. It's for me. That's just like, no way. I can't handle that.
Aren't the characters in Henneko underage?
Oh,
they are, but I wouldn't write a fan fiction about them.
Well,
yes, of course. I'm gonna have to go look in my database of fanfiction and see if one is written by Iflufnish.
yeah.
You have a date? Wow.
I have a secret budget that I managed to somehow keep secret until now.
Oh man, wow, dude.
Wait, Tyson, do you mean to tell us that you have like entire hard drives full of fanfiction that you just go through?
Well, the fanfiction is not actually loaded into those hard drives, but I do have links.
Wow. So that's why you should be the director of fanfiction.
No, ever since I got a name as director of fanfiction, I got access to a secret budget that allows me to have that kind of.
See, why do you get a secret budget and I'm homeless? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know,
it's so corrupt.
It's fucked up.
Exactly.
That's how life is. To move on forward, I had to step on someone, and it happens that someone turns out to be too.
No. I can't. I don't believe this. And then we're gonna hear that like Tyson's like a billionaire, and then we don't get any money on this podcast, and then Tyson's just stealing everything.
That's his
No,
evil laugh.
I can be like Scrooge Duck and then open the safe, look at all my money, and then woohoo, boom, swimming all the money.
And we should get back to what talking about Henneko. So anyway, yeah. So what did you guys think of the first episode? Tyson, I don't want to hear your opinions.
Okay, well, personally, I think might like more or less have the opposite of what Tyson had, because I already knew what Henneko was, Hentai Prince and Stony Cat, and I heard quite a few good things about it on Twitter, right? So I was like, yeah, let's see what this is about, right? And to be honest with you, I felt like I was forcing myself through the first like 2 episodes. I was just finding a reason to enjoy it, and it was pretty hard to search. I mean, maybe it's just that I'm not into this type of anime. I'm more of a how should I say? I'm more into drama.
Yeah.
In anime, and just that, especially with the underage characters in this, and it having some fan service scenes with said characters, it kind of makes me uncomfortable. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, the fact that there's some ecchi elements in it.
But how old are the characters?
I think that Tsukiko is. I think she's going to high school. So.
But what age would that make her? What, 16?
Tsukiko,
12.
according to the to the Hentai Prince wiki, it says that her age is 15 to 16.
Well,
whoa no.
in the UK, 16 is the legal age. So.
Oh,
but
well, I don't think
so.
That's not.
So that would make her legal.
That would, yeah, in the UK, that would make her.
Not in the US, and probably not in Canada.
Not in Canada, no.
Well, we got a lot of teen pregnancies in the UK. Yeah.
Well, I guess Loli's legal in the UK.
There has been a promotion of bitch promoting teenage pregnancy. Please, wear your condoms. Your friend Tyson.
They should have Get Life Podcast branded condoms. I think so. I think when we get more popular, we should do that.
There's just
have them flavored as well. If you guys want to see those kind of condoms, tell me, and we can get that. We can get
it arranged.
Yeah, we can get it arranged. Anyway, back to the whole the anime thing.
So basically, since I watched it on the road, it happens that I got really uncomfortable watching the first and the second episode. But then, as the episodes further move on, then I'm like, okay, so this is not what I thought. This is quite enjoyable, I think. It's the brand of humor that probably pulled me in, even though I'm not hugely into comedy animes, but I do like to laugh. Everybody likes to laugh.
Yeah.
I know I do. So I took until the end. There are some topics that confuse me, but I can live with those.
Well, for me, my first experience with this anime was when my friend Danil, I'm giving him a shout out right now. My friend Danil was like recommending animes for me, and I've only by that time I was really new to anime. I've only seen like Toradora and mostly romances, and he said, "Oh yeah, you should watch a Hentai Prince and a Stony Cat." And I was just hearing the name, I thought, dude, I'm not gonna watch this. And then after watching pretty much all the animes I could watch for the year, because there wasn't many being released at that time. In terms of romance, but I had to watch like one episode, and I was just like, no, I'm not watching any more of this. I just got freaked out, and then I decided to watch what was it called? Haganai, and that was like the best anime ever. And I'm hoping that Kevin suggests it for an episode somewhere down the line. I hope so.
We will. We definitely. Tyson must be converted.
Exactly, and hopefully.
Oh my god.
Dude, you need to watch Haganai actually, because it's kind of messed up, but at the same time it's so awesome.
No, it's not messed up. It's glorious. It's just that's all it is, glorious.
No, it's kind of messed up. There's certain bits that really don't make sense.
Oh, you could say that about this anime too. Like,
you can, but the reason it doesn't make sense in this anime is because it's a romance, it's a comedy, but then it has that kind of it's not magic. It's like, what do they call it?
Supernatural.
Yes, it has that supernatural theme in there, with the whole cat, granting wishes and stuff, which is kind of weird. Like, I can't really imagine that situation in real life, and I don't think I should, because
it's not real.
It's not real, yeah. But for me, like, seeing other animes, and then I can say, oh yeah, okay, I can imagine that happening in real life to me. But for this anime, really, I can't, because...
Yeah, it's completely fictional.
Yeah, well, there are some bits I can relate to, in the sense that the guy is... I don't know, he likes to lie a lot and stuff, and...
Are you implying that you like to do squats in front of pools so you can peek on people?
We don't have pools in my high school in the UK. We're not rich enough. Like I said, I'm homeless, so I can't afford private schools, But serious, yeah, I wouldn't like to do that, because there's people think I'm a pervert, and especially because I was watching this anime on the train once, and that's like the weirdest thing ever. Especially when there's a group of families like watching the anime. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Oh well, you haven't experienced it. Like, I was watching this on my iPad during like there was like families and businessmen watching me during that first episode, where Tsukiko thinks she's getting raped, and then you can hear the screaming, and then people are just looking at me like, is he watching hentai? Like, seriously? It's kind of, like, no one stopped me. Honestly, they were just watching me, and they're like, this guy, and they're like, people are taking their children like further away down the carriage, and they're like, get away from this fucked up guy. Yeah, it wasn't even cover up their eyes. It was just, let's get off at the next stop so we don't stay with this crazy man.
Which is the thing of the prohibited. Like, it's something that you can't look, but you're looking at it anyway. That's what happens.
It does. I've seen some weird things happen on the tube anyway, so I don't think watching anime on the tube is as messed up as other stuff that I've seen.
That's why I tend to not watch anime in public. Like, when I watch anime, I either just sit in my room, or like, because it's just that casual people, they just don't understand anime, right? So they'll give you that, like, oh, what the hell, you're a freak look, or like they'll be all judgmental, right? So
exactly. Hopefully people like even listening to this podcast, but I doubt, but if people like give it a try, and say, okay, this is an anime, I'm gonna go and watch it, I'm gonna give it a try and see what it's about, because there are people that go into animes with thoughts about it to begin with, and we did. We had thoughts about this anime before we even watched it, and I'm not sure if you guys agree, but I thought that this anime would be like the most perverted thing ever, and I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover or an anime by its name.
So let's talk about the story. Tyson, care to talk about that?
So the anime starts with basically Yoto being all perverted and stuff, and then he wishes to get rid of the facade, basically his hentai being, and then he hears a story from his friend Panta that there's a Stony Cat on the mountain, that if you give up something, it'll grant you your wish, but it'll give what you want to get rid of to another person. Mm-hmm. And then at the hill, that's where he meets Tsukiko, and Tsukiko wanted to get rid of her emotions because she's having problems with her sister and whatnot. So they both wish to the cat. Yoto got rid of his facade to some extent, and Tsukiko got rid of her emotions. But then they realized that those are things that they both need. So they team up to look for his facade and to look for someone who has Tsukiko's emotions. So that's pretty much how this partnership between Yoto and Tsukiko comes to fruition. And then I think it was in the second episode where they meet, where Yoto meets Asuki Asusa, something like that. I think that's her name. Asusa. Okay.
The one that's flat-chested.
Yeah.
Well, basically, a lot of the characters are flat-chested.
basically, the one who thinks she's hot shit.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
hey-
because of that, yeah.
Yeah, the tsundere one.
So what do you mean by tsundere? Like, because there's might be people that don't, see anime.
Understand it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, tsundere is like, it's a very popular stereotype / personality trait that you find in anime, and most of the time, I'm not saying it isn't applied to males, but most of the time it's something that's adopted by female anime characters, and it's basically when the said female character with the tsundere complex is kind of like mean to the main character, but in actuality, that person has some feelings towards the person they're being mean to.
And then the whole episode develops into this kind of three-piece between exploring the relationship between Yoto and Tsukiko, and Yoto with Asusa, Asusa with Tsukiko, and the whole triangle comes together, something like that. It's kind of weird.
I don't think it's a triangle. I think it's evolved more like with at first it was a triangle, and then it becomes this polygon.
No, the thing is that throughout the anime, Yoto, at the initial point, Yoto develops a friendship with Tsukiko, but Tsukiko falls in love with him, and so does Asusa. So it's kind of a weird thing going on, because at the end, at the end, basically Yoto and Tsukiko kiss, but then it's a weird thing in which Asusa still has feelings for him.
Aren't they still officially, aren't they still like dating? Like Azusa and Yokodera, aren't they still like officially dating at the end?
Well,
they never broke up or anything, right?
No, I think Yoto still looks to Asusa as a friend, but I don't know if they're dating or anything. It's just that if it happens to be that Asusa is the one obsessed over Yoto, and Yoto kind of like is in love with Tsukiko.
Really?
That's the way I perceived it. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, but I kind of felt sorry for her because she kind of got friend zoned, and it's not like the best situation to be in, especially when your other friend is the person that
I don't think Asusa and Tsukiko were ever friends. Throughout the whole episode, the relationship between Tsukiko and Asusa was more of a rivalry one over Yoto.
I can see them being like, I assume they're friends, even because there's a lot of animes I've seen where like they're rivals at the beginning.
No, if anything we learn about Asusa is that she, in a way, got Yoto's facade, because at the end she said to Tsukiko that she had a dream where she had her first kiss, and like 5 minutes before Yoto kissed Tsukiko. So so in a way, she was the one who earned Yoto's facade. I don't know if he was aware of it.
I think he was. I think he realized because he saw the belt, because it was the belt that was taken away from him.
And I don't remember, but Barbara Sang had a belt. Oh, by the way, Barbara was the inflatable doll.
It wasn't a doll. It was a body pillow, but it looked like a really bad sex.
Yeah, like a really bad sex toy.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I didn't remember the belt at first, really.
You don't notice it because he was just using the belt to he strapped the belt to him, so she would be on his back. So it wasn't really something that you would notice until you realized, oh my god, the belt is gone, and now Aziz is wearing it on her neck like a collar, because she is kind of like a dog. Because we see that she's working at a cafe where she is dressed up as a dog.
Yeah, that was episode 3, I think, or maybe 2.
I think
3.
so.
Yeah, they meet her at work at episode 3.
So what do you think about that? Do you think that was just mainly fan service?
Yeah,
definitely fan service. That's definitely fan service.
Speaking of the relationship between Tsukiko, Azusa, and Yoto, what I saw it as was Yoto was kind of like the middleman, and then there's Tsukiko and Azusa who both like him, I he's kind of like indifferent, because even though it's really implied by the end that Yoto and Tsukiko are going to be together, I always felt that, you know, it's like the typical harem situation where the protagonist has a bunch of people around him, right? But he doesn't feel really attached to any of them, because from what I saw personally in the first few episodes, that Tsukiko and Azusa both really liked Yoto, but Yoto both treated them as friends. He didn't really go very far in expressing his feelings for any of them early on.
But then, Kevin, how do you explain the ending? Because Yoto and Tsukiko did kiss. Yeah, how does that theory hold up? Like, maybe the kiss is a symbolism, so they have more, something like that. So, it's not really neutral as you might suggest it is.
Well, personally, like, this is kind of a weird situation because I can name a few other anime where it's explicit, like it's really clear that the protagonist is going to be with this person, right? But I think what's weird is that Yoto, while he does seem that he likes Tsukiko, he doesn't go very far in that. I mean, he kisses, but he never really. He doesn't seem like the romantic type, you know? It's not really clear that is like madly in love with Tsukiko.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but maybe I think probably that's what they did that's more down to the like the actual original manga. That's how they've done it, and then the anime has to be done in a certain way so that the kind of audience will probably start shipping characters together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you don't destroy like streams.
Exactly. That's because it's not the best when you hear that your ships will never happen.
I think we'll be talking a lot about ships, like in the next episode. a lot about ships, like the neighbor kind.
I heard you said shits for a second right there.
Ship. SHIP.
Okay.
Well, in terms of ships, which characters would you ship together?
Okay, I'll start right now. I think the undisputable couple in this is Babara-san and Yoto. I mean,
oh man.
Today I learned that Kevin ships inanimate objects with people.
Okay, no, but in all seriousness, I honestly think that Tsukiko's sister, Tsukushi, and Yoto. That's my personal ship. Okay, I don't know about you guys. Yes,
I have to agree with that one.
Really?
Okay.
No.
She's just awesome.
I'll explain why.
Okay.
Because Tsukushi is the plot device and also the punching bag, so to speak. Because the thing about Tsukushi is that Yoto's obsessed over her because she has big boobs. But then later down the road, when elaborating on her personality, and then for some reason Tsukushi thinks that Yoto has a twin, little brother.
Yeah.
That's where most of the comedy stems from this anime. I was laughing like every single time, and they tie the fan service to the funny bits, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I can get along with this.
Well, I found it was kind of stupid when okay, the first time it was funny, and then after that she's still going along with it, and I'm just like, you're overplaying this one joke, you know?
Yeah, I do think that too. I think you're beating a dead horse here. And the thing is, when he tries to tell her that he doesn't have a brother, and the way she reacts to it, I was just, I mean, a joke is funny the first few times, right? But you shouldn't repeat overkill.
Exactly.
You shouldn't repeat it too many times, because that kind of removes the humor, and that also I think paints Tsukushi's character in a negative light.
Makes it seem stale.
Yeah, exactly.
But really, Tsukushi didn't have any character development until the last few episodes. Really, she was always used in the anime as a punching bag, as a kind of a joke. Like the only thing that she has going for her are her big assets, in how they tie that to comedy. Because if you're looking for a deep character, Tsukushi's not it. She's not the center of this great character development like at all. Like
until the last few episodes.
Exactly, and that's one criticism I do have, because like Yoto has a backstory, Tsukiko has a backstory, Tsukushi doesn't have. She's she's treated not as a secondary character, but mostly as a tertiary character. Like she's just like a passenger walking down the street.
I can't blame the fact that she has no backstory, because most of her she was mostly overseas, like during her childhood, so that's why she doesn't really have a backstory. And even then, her the backstory that we're led to believe is actually.
Do you have any gripes about the anime?
What do you mean gripes?
Like, example, I'll start. Like, the biggest gripe I have, one of the biggest gripes I have is the fact that yes, it's a comedy anime. I get that, but we can all agree that there are moments where it's trying to be serious, like about a character's emotions, particularly, right? And I just found it so hard to take it seriously, because it's all fun and games, all like this comedy, and then it goes all serious, and it's trying to convince you to take this character's feelings seriously, right? And I find it hard to do that when basically for the rest of screen time, all there is just jokes and comedy, you know? I find it hard to take the plot and character development seriously at times.
But for me, I think the main kind of issue I have with this anime is the fact that, as you said, it was serious at times, but it's trying to be like a romance, when honestly I don't think the romance element was sufficient. You see what I mean?
Yeah, like I would rate it more of a comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, I went into this anime thinking it was a romance, and I was kind of disappointed, because you only get that kiss at the end, and like you said, what's his name? Yoto.
Yoto, yes.
Yoto, yes. Yeah, okay, yeah. He's all over the place in terms of his relationship. Similar, like how we kind of are all over the place with this podcast. So,
pretty much.
Just put that out there. But yeah,
I don't really see that as negative. The whole element of like when it tries to be too funny, it starts to get serious, because that's how you get character development. This is not an explicit comedy anime, like say probably one of the few comedy animes that was explicitly a comedy anime was Rock Lee and his ninja friends. So I welcome that kind of variety as long as it's in place, because yes, it may seem like a comedy anime, but the whole story has a purpose revolving around the relationship between Yoto, Tsukiko, and Azuki, trying to get his facade back. So I, for one, welcome that kind of variety. I didn't entirely see it out of place, because I'm a sucker for character development. Like, I want to see characters like go through hardships, evolve, change their train of thought, I guess you could say.
okay.
So I didn't entirely saw out of place. That's just me, though.
Trying to continue on what you were saying, right? I mean, yes, character development is nice, but it's just that when, like I said, the sudden changes between comedy and drama don't really mix well with a character as two-dimensional as a Tsukushi, right? Because yes, you are. It's clear that they're trying to evoke emotion in the audience, but I didn't get that connection, because, well, she's this 2D character that you know like nothing about, and then suddenly you're trying to get you to feel pity and sorrow. Like, that doesn't happen.
I think it's more. I think it stems more from the fact that I never lost sight of what was the anime about. Hence why I don't see it as a explicitly comedy anime. And not I felt any sympathy for Tsukushi. Maybe until the last tidbit, because I'm gonna get a little personal here, but I'm not gonna but I'm not gonna go on the story. I kind of had that relationship with my mother. So
Yeah, I felt the same thing as well. And, like I'll admit, I actually cried. Okay, I'm not even gonna deny it. The feels are
I'm
strong.
like, I'm not gonna say cry, but it kind of hit me in a soft spot because I actually saw myself in Tsukushi, like in the last episode when she runs home to her mother, something like that. And I don't know what I can say to make you come over to my side, but probably that would be the thing that it was never supposed to be a comedy anime, like, so I don't really think the drama was out of place. It just evokes things that a normal human being would do. I don't know.
So like you're saying it's relatable, right? That
I, for one, found it relatable
yeah.
because to me that has happened.
I felt a shiver down my spine at that moment, when he was giving his memories back to the older sister. But
Oh yeah,
and I think that was a really nice thing. He could have just been the ultimate douchebag and said, "No, I want my memories." I think that was a really selfless act to give his memories to someone else.
I think that was memorable because he was basically influenced by himself,
Yeah.
by his future self rather.
I think that as a human being, that's an amazing thing to do. And I have a question for you guys. Would if you were in his position, would you do a similar thing?
I think
I would not. I would not.
Would not?
Yeah.
Wow, Tyson, you are a dick. I mean, dick move.
I am a selfish person in nature. I am a selfish person in nature. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
it's understandable. It's like
yeah. I mean, I don't think
it's like it's especially in that kind of situation where I spend so much time with someone that wasn't even my mom, and then when her daughters come running in, I would basically act like a little spoiled Yoko, because you guys will remember that the kid Yoto actually hated Tsukushi when she was young. Yeah, I would be too. I would be too.
But he redeems himself, and I think it takes. I don't think many people would do the same thing as him in that situation, honestly. And I agree with you. If I've invested that much time with someone, why would I want it to go to waste?
Exactly, and I think what he gave away came at too high a price. Maybe I would have let him. I would have let Tsukiko interrupt when young Yoto wanted to give her his memories to Tsukushi and Tsukiko. I would have let it.
But that would have changed the future if you think about it. And then they might not have been together. They might not have had this relationship, and then the whole anime would have been void.
Probably, but it wouldn't be any different to say a story that has its own developments and everything, and then when you come at the end, it was all a dream.
I hate that kind of thing. That's the first thing they teach us in school. Like when you're writing stories, don't say, "Oh, it was just a dream at the end," because that pisses people off. I hate that.
I know, but but yeah, I pretty much would have done what young Yoto would have behaved rather, kind of like him.
So what about you, Kevin? What would you do in that situation? Yeah.
Personally, I think that we can't really say what we would do because we haven't been through the same experiences, right? So we could say what we think we would do, but we'd never actually know, right? Personally, it really depends. I think I would, if you consider the fact that, I mean, Tsukushi is has a very strong relationship with her mother, right? Because she's their daughter, right? So I think that just because of that, I would want to do that. I would want to get my memories back.
There was something because I would have maybe liked the story more if it didn't have the Stony Cat element. I, for one, thought that was out of place.
Okay.
That's
understandable.
I don't really think I could maybe raise up how it was out of place, but it felt like at least in terms of story, it was an easy getaway, like say Metal Gear Solid and the whole nanomachines thing. When you want to negate a plot device, you say nanomachines, and everything that does not make sense, nanomachines.
I see. Yeah.
I kind of felt that way with the Stony Cat. There were some character developments and story evolutions that were kind of negated because of the Stony Cat, and there were parts of it that didn't quite make sense because of the Stony Cat's involvement. Also, I already mentioned the part that I'm not entirely satisfied with Tsukushi's character development. She did it because she was mostly used as a punching bag for jokes and whatnot. That's about pretty much it that I want to raise up.
Honestly, I agree with you, but if you've taken the Stony Cat out of the anime, then it's just the hentai prince.
Yeah, but I think what I'm trying to say here is that I see hentai prince with potential to be a romantic anime.
But that's the thing, it's been listed as a romance because the manga, I'm not quite sure, but I think the manga is a romance because it's ongoing and whatever, and I think we haven't really experienced that, and it happens with a lot of animes, especially Haganai and all this kind of things. Their romance part of it kind of branches out in the second season. So if we are going to see a second season of this anime, we're probably going to see more romance, and we're probably going to see the relationship between Tsukiko and Yoto kind of become more awesome.
The thing is that the manga and the light novels are still being made.
Yeah, but that's alright.
It's not entirely out of the question that Hentai Prince could get a second season, at least in terms of the anime. But I, for one, felt that the one who produced the manga, the story and whatnot, just added the Stony Cat just to be different. Like this is one take on romance that I could definitely get. Should there be a season 2 of the anime, or should I sit to read the manga or the light novel someday? I could actually dig more romance, but I don't know what happened to the Stony Cat when the first season ended. But I'd like to see a decrease, maybe in the Stony Cat element and more on the romance part of the anime.
Well, the thing is, like, even then they would still have the whole Stony Cat thing. You can't really erase it, obviously, because the name is Stony Cat, and because she still has no emotion. You know, I want to see how she kind of breaks away from that. You know. And obviously that probably won't be developed in a second season. Now, if there was a third season or fourth season, then yeah, that's probably going to happen at the end. Even in the manga, it wouldn't make sense for them to kind of make her have emotion, you know, unless it's the end.
Also, did you guys feel that the anime ended in kind of a cliffhanger or something? Because, let me see how I explain this. Because the anime starts with Yoto looking for his facade and Tsukiko looking for her emotions back, and what we ended up with was totally different from what the goal was. Or maybe I'm just in the wrong word. It's like a bait and switch. No,
I see what you mean. Is we're led that they're gonna, you know, we would think that they would at least resolve their things.
Like this is a story with a happy ending, basically.
But you know, it doesn't happen.
To an extent, it was.
But that's the thing. It was a vague ending. It's like I can't really tell. Are they okay? They shared a kiss, but are they together? Like, what's gonna happen next, and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it does. I would say kind of leads on to a second season. It will be perfect kind of bit to continue from for a second season. Obviously, that depends on how popular this anime is. We still haven't seen an English dub of it, so I'm guessing people over here don't want an English dub.
Not necessarily because it gets an English dub. It doesn't mean that this type of anime was popular with the Japanese crowd. And I gotta say, most of the people who watch anime the sea are actually into the Japanese dubs, and not every anime gets an English dub. That probably belongs most to the shonen shows. Like for instance, I don't expect to see an English dub of this anime.
I disagree with that because, you know, there's a lot of anime that have been done by JC Stuff that has got its English dub, especially Toradora. It took 6 years for a Toradora English dub, which is coming out in July, by the way. So you guys listening can go and buy that DVD. NIS America is selling it, so you can go on their website and check that out. But still, 6 years for an English dub to be licensed is crazy. We will probably see that in like 6 years for this anime, maybe.
You have to think, is there really interest in this type of anime on this side of the sea for it to justify an English dub? Because localization, English voice actors, the whole production part. That actually takes quite a bit of money.
Yeah, I know
And
that.
that's why it mostly English dubs lends themselves to mostly shonen shows. Like for instance, the latest one that I've heard of was Fairy Tail. Like the second season has already started airing in Japan, and I think the other half of Fairy Tail is being English dubbed here in the United States. But but that's about it. That's a perception, really.
Well, even then, I think it's the whole English dub argument that even like, I'm gonna go back to Toradora here because that is a romance, and it is mainly a romance, and it's still got its English dub. I think it was popular enough to get its English dub. You know what I mean? I think there is animes. It's not just for shonen animes. It could be for shoujo animes as well.
Okay, and here's something that I wanted to put out there before the second episode. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and then I'm gonna let Kevin talk. Free, when it started, it was mostly a concept that KyoAni did to it was sort of a highlight reel because KyoAni are not used to do this kind of work. I think they're mostly known for shoujo shows as well, but there was such a demand on the internet, and people developed characters, storylines for what it seemed to be only 30 seconds of the trailer, which basically went on to become free. I think the man also has to do a little bit on it, but we'll have to see because people licensors do take into account the success or failures of other English dubs to bring them overseas. That's just what I think, and I'm gonna hand it over to my Kevin.
Actually, I was going to add something onto the ending. Am I the only one who felt that the anime kind of ended like suddenly, like abruptly?
I guess you could argue that, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because for me, it felt like there's the last two episodes were their own like story arc where they explore the black story of Tsukiko and the other characters, right? And then all of a sudden, in the last episode, they just jump to a happy ending without any explanation. There's just a time skip, and yay, everyone's happy. It ends. So I feel that it felt kind of rushed almost from my standpoint. And also, like another thing is, I actually really liked. Like, if you're asking me what my favorite part of the anime was, it'd probably be the last two episodes, but I felt that it came a bit too late, right?
Yeah.
So for the entire duration of the anime, it was all happy, comedy, things like that, and after all the serious parts, like, in my opinion, the good part is at the very end.
So would you say that the last two episodes kind of saved this anime for you?
Well, I never said it needed saving in the first place. It was never bad. I never really disliked it, but I mean, I would have liked to see more of the drama, the plot, the backstory, the last two episodes a bit more earlier on, right? So maybe that would have hooked more people right from the start instead of just putting it all at the end.
It's probably the thought that this was more developed with the Japanese audience in mind, rather than overseas one. Probably the culture over there dig this kind of anime, and when you judge by the like say popularity contests that they hold over in Japan.
Yeah, because it's different audiences, right? I think I'm under the impression that the Japanese audience is the type of audience that likes like romance in a different way. I think they like it without complications, just like straightforward romance. Well, personally, I tend to prefer romantic things that are more complex, that have more backstory to the characters, that have some chemistry, right? It's not just this character likes this character, that's it, right? I like some chemistry behind the characters.
I have to disagree. You know when you said about the whole Japanese fan base and stuff and how they like romance in that certain way, I don't think that's the case. I think it's the same. I think it's in terms of, I think they also like the whole complications and all this kind in some cases tragedies as well, because I think this anime in terms of it being a romance is very different to other romances out there.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll take Haganai for instance. It's like that has its complications. That has all the stuff that you would expect a romance to be, and I think this anime shouldn't really be considered as a romance unless it kind of develops in a second season.
it's more of a sub theme. I think the
Yeah.
main theme of this is probably comedy and supernatural.
Of course, you know, it's like they just shove the romance in there just to please certain user groups.
Yeah, exactly.
It's other animes do that as well, you know.
It's kind of like fan service almost.
Yeah, fan service, but in a weird way. It's like unexpected, and it kind of annoys me because I'm going into this anime thinking it's a romance because it's listed online as a romance, and then you're like, what the hell is this? It's not. It's not what I expected. It's not. It's like I said, it's like asking for a Philly cheesesteak and then getting a hot dog in return. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, it's almost as if this anime has an identity crisis.
Exactly.
Doesn't know whether it wants to be a comedy,
Pretty
a romance.
much.
Like, I feel that they really, to be in lack of a more politically correct term here, half-assed. Like, I feel that, honestly, especially for like people who like ships, I feel that what's the main character's name again? Jesus, forget. It's Yoto. Yeah, Yoto kind of half-asses his relationship with Tsukiko. He never, like I said before, he's not. They don't really emphasize it. He's not the madly in love. He's not the whole passion. Like, he's not really passionate about it.
Well, he's not really interested in that. If you think about it, he's just because
he's in it for the boot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a teenager and he's controlled not by his emotions, by his hormones.
Yep.
So that can explain it, but they didn't really make that clear. You do raise a good point there.
That is true.
I just wanted to touch on the art aspect of the anime before we wrap up. What do you thought about the art style?
For me, the art style it's very reminiscent of other animes I've seen. You know, it's very modern, and it was because I've seen a lot of animes like that were quite old. You know, like Fruits Basket and whatever, and it looks so cheesy. But this, you know, it's like every other anime I've seen, and I like the art style. It was kind of cute, you know, especially with the cat. But I think the boobs kind of it was overdone with the boobs. You know, I think they were too big, especially for a high schooler. Please, if you are a high schooler and you have big tits, don't be offended. I'm just saying it's like in an anime, it's just like in an anime they overdo it. It's like
you haven't seen Fairy Tail, apparently. You haven't seen.
No, I haven't seen Fairy Tail, and
that's where they take the whole big boobs thing out of context.
No, I mean like they overdo it with it's like it's not necessary in the anime. It's like she's just there because of her boobs. It's like her boobs is a device for the anime, for the story, and it's not right, you know? Like, as Tyson said, there's more to the character than the boobs.
Personally, I don't think, in terms of, like, fan service and ecchi, Henneko isn't that bad. I mean, I've seen a lot worse, and I mean a lot worse amounts of fan service in anime.
I've seen.
I mean, if you look at Henneko, there are some ecchi and fan service moments, but it's not that much. It's not where I'd say it's getting in the way of the enjoyment or development of the plot, right? It's not the main focus of the show.
Of course, but people would think because of the title, Hentai Princess and Stony Cat, people would think straight away that there is some sort of those themes are there and they're a main part of it. But that's like I said, that's
I think
not right to think like that.
Yeah, I think it was just marketed very wrongly, like because for non-Chinese speakers or just people who aren't familiar with the Japanese language, hentai in the West and in Japan have different meanings. So hentai in the West means, well, I'm certain you all know, I don't really need to describe it, but hentai in Japan, it just simply means pervert.
Yeah.
Right? So the title supposed to say is the pervert prince and the Stony Cat.
But even then, like the pervert prince, and you would think it's a porno.
Yeah, but still, even then, it's. I think it's a lot.
I think
less...
if they called it Henneko, and then people wouldn't understand. Like the Western users wouldn't understand because it's in itself. It's like a shortened version of the Japanese name, so it doesn't make sense anyway. So people are like, oh, okay, cool, Henneko. Okay, Neko means cat. You know, done. That's all people need to know. I think when going into this anime, I think it would have been better to market it as that as opposed to Hentai Prince and the Stony Cat overseas, because people look at it and they'll be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
It kind of bothered me, not bothered me, but distracted me. The fact that both the male and the female have big eyes, and for some reason, I took like in the past, probably 10 years ago or so, I took art classes in Japanese drawing styles, and one of the things that we were taught was that usually women's eyes are much bigger than the men's, but in here, both men and women have big eyes.
No, I think the reason for that is because he's quite young. He's quite, I wouldn't say innocent, but they're trying to make him off as cute because the characters with big eyes in anime tend to be the cuter characters. You know, that's what I think. I'm not sure about what you guys think.
At least that personally distracted me. Going off on that knowledge, at least.
That's an interesting point because I never took art classes, so I didn't know that there was supposed to be a difference between female and male character eyes. Personally, I did notice that
the art
they
is
were a
really
bit bigger. Yeah, I did notice it was a bit bigger than usual, but I wouldn't say it's something that bothered me. It didn't really stand out to me. I was like, oh, I just took it as the studio's personal style, right? So.
Probably, yeah.
Well, the studio JC stuff doesn't have this kind of big eyes for the male characters in their other animes. I think they've done that to show that this character is cute because they've also done stuff like Toradora and Golden Time. There's characters that their eyes are made to look like they're delinquents. You know what I mean? They tend to have smaller eyes, eyes that are kind of darker in color. They tend not to have it as cute. Female eyes, especially in this anime. I think they're trying to make him look cute. I think that's the main reason, and I'm gonna stick to that.
All right, so we're talking about the opening ending theme stat.
Yep.
Tyson, you need to. For people who don't know, we need to hear it. The thing is with that, when I heard that, I can just imagine him in the opening scene, with with the skirt moving around, and I'm just like Tyson. I can just imagine Tyson dressed like that.
Oh my God, no!
Tyson, fan art is gonna arrive now.
No! Damn it!
It's Somebody right. Give this man a Grammy right now.
Oh my God, my performance is not Grammy worth it. Okay. Not that shitty performance.
You underestimate yourself.
No.
But I enjoyed it. It was out of all the animes I've seen, honestly, because I've seen like 25 animes. I think this was the best opening scene. I mean, opening kind of music for it. I don't know why. It was very catchy.
It was very upbeat.
Yeah,
I didn't think it fit the anime for some reason, but hey, most opening scenes don't fit the anime itself. Just need to be catchy.
I think it's something that makes me remember the anime. Like normally I skip through the opening scenes, but this made me want to watch it and enjoy the song because it was quite cool. Yeah. What about you, Kevin?
Me, I liked it. Like Tyson said, it's really upbeat, really catchy. I mean, I didn't know it was catchy to the point where it'd make grown men want to sing along with it. But I mean, yeah.
No, that's only Tyson.
Yeah. I personally found it was pretty good. The song itself was nice. It was upbeat. It was energetic. In terms of the animation, like the video that went along with it, I think I mentioned to Bish before that I don't know. Personally, it's starting off with the skirt twirling and things like that.
Yeah, that was a bit freaky.
That kind of set me off, since even though technically, according to Bish, they're of legal age, I kind of felt uncomfortable, just a bit.
But that's because the legal age in your country is different.
No, but it's just that, like, even though technically, according to Wiki, she's like 15 or 16, appearance-wise, she looks a lot younger. Like, honestly, I'd say she looks 13.
Honestly, I really don't know what to say to that, but I don't think it's an issue. I think the whole skirt twirling was, but the fact that she looks underage wasn't. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not saying that the fact that she's young is a bad thing. It's just that, the fact that there's skirt twirling and she looks a bit too young, that kind of set me off. Just a bit. That's my personal opinion.
I understand. But another thing is that you are of a similar age.
Yeah, I know, but well, I'm not nearly as kawaii though. I know that.
But we don't know. You might be kawaii.
I don't have any senpais IRL, so.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm just gonna end the episode here because I think it's the perfect place to end. So, what do you think? Do you think you're gonna recommend this to friends or anything, and to the audience?
Who's gonna start?
I would.
All right, yeah, go.
Why would you say, like, what do you think would appeal to the audience?
Probably the comedy. But then again, I have weird tastes, so I don't know.
What about you, Kevin?
Me, I would recommend it. I wouldn't say it's an anime that anyone can immediately jump into, but I think if you're a fan of comedy, I would recommend this because it has some hilarious moments in it. If you're a fan of romance, then I guess it could work, but I'm just going to warn you right now that romance is not, even though it's listed as a romance anime, it's not the main focus of the anime. So you shouldn't jump into this anime expecting romance being like the center of the story, because honestly, it's not. Yeah,
I would say if you guys want to go and watch this, you can go and either watch it in Crunchyroll for free. You need to just sign up for it, a free service, and it's also on Hulu. But we don't have Hulu in the UK, so UK users. You guys don't have Hulu as well?
In Canada, no. But it's not on Netflix, is it?
Yeah, Hulu is mostly an American service. I don't think it is on Netflix. I don't think. At least
it's not on Netflix.
Saw that it was on Crunchyroll and Hulu. That's it.
So yeah, we'll just say for everyone as a universal thing, just go and watch it on Crunchyroll. You will have to watch it through ads. I think if you subscribe to their premium service, you don't need to watch ads, and you can go and watch other anime as well that is simulcast as well as soon as it comes out, which is awesome. And yeah, if you guys want to go and buy the complete DVDs, if you really want to, if you like this anime and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna cherish this anime forever, I'm gonna buy all the DVDs, you can also do that on Crunchyroll's website as well. So yeah, next episode will be about, what will it be about, guys?
Tyson, would you want to announce that?
It will be free Iwatobi Swing Club.
Yep.
For the guys out there, no, it's not gonna be in the second season. It's gonna be in the first season.
Okay, well, yeah, it's gonna be about the first season, and honestly, I've enjoyed it so far. I've only seen one episode. I don't want to say any more, but yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this episode of Get Life Podcast Kunai. Say goodbye, guys.
Thanks for watching or listening. See ya.
Bye.
Hey Kenjiro, I think Jenny can kick your ass.
Are you a betting man, Bish?
What?